And welcome to the pit. This week we have some artists that aren't part of PIA, but they're artists that are out in these different scenes that we go to year after year. These are struggling artists, and we wanted to talk to some bands that, again, aren't a part of our immediate association, but that are bands that are out there working hard, busting their ass nonetheless. Today we're going to start off with a band from right here in Los Angeles. These guys are called The Quarantined. Fellas, welcome to the pit.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've got Sean Martin, vocals and guitars. I've got Casper Greenberg's drums. Fellas, you're here in LA. Hard rock band, big market. Got to do some things to kind of stick out in Los Angeles if you're gonna make some noise. You guys, again, hard rock, but it's a little different. It's a little off center. Let's start with your music. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we try to qualify ourselves as a hard rock, grunge, rap band. We stick more with the rock side and use rap in the same vein that the Chili Peppers would, or Rage Against the Machine. So we try to use it in order to get a broader, grander message across than you could in just a 4-line verse or an 8-line verse. And so we also try to take from reggae, we try to take from 90s rock and grunge, and we try to take from classic rock and Zeppelin and Hendrix and Cream. These are all some of my biggest influences when I was just learning to play guitar. We also try to take from even as far as Stevie Wonder and the kinds of really great bands and artists that defined generations. We try to take the most refined version of, or at least what we consider to be the best artists in those particular genres, and take from them, because they're all really smart and they all know what they're doing, and so we want to try to take from the best.
So when you do that, when you're pulling from so many different areas, how do you guys find that common denominator, the one thing that allows you guys to be the Quarantined?
That's a good question. We try to have our own sound. It's one thing to take from to take a chord progression from an artist or from a song that you like, or to emulate it in some form or another. It's another way to take that same chord progression and play it in an entirely different way, where you could just play half of the chord and use different voicings, or you can take it and switch the rhythm up a little bit. And in the end, it's supposed to boost our understanding of the music at large, and have and it's, first of all, it's about already having your voice defined. It's about already knowing the connections between the genres, because music is all music in the end. It's under the same blanket, if you will. And we just find the common denominator that sounds good and works, because there's a lot of things that won't, and that's obviously the struggle that you come across, is that there's a lot of things that won't. So you have to try a lot of things, and you have to be patient with everybody in trying all the new things that they do. And of course, when we have work with other artists and have guest spots from different other bands, we try to let them have their creative input, because when it's really about, beyond the genre, it's about the artistry. It's about what you say, it's about how you say it, it's about how you present yourself. And we try to take all these things into account to come up with a message that is inspiring, but at the same time reflective. In the end, we try to be a mirror, and for us, that's one of the biggest things for us, is to try to be a mirror, to society, to music, to all of these things.
Casper.
Yeah.
You're in LA. We've already determined the market sense of what's going on here. I mean, if you're going to make it in entertainment, this is the place to be. So there's a lot of competition here. You're coming not only to an area where the competition is probably as fierce as it will be anywhere else on the planet, but you're coming to us from outside of the country.
Yes.
Latvia. I guess for people who are geographically challenged. Basically, the Russia, what used to be Russia back in the day.
It used to be, yes.
Um,
It was part of. Well, actually, there was no Russia back then. It was all USSR.
Soviet Union.
Soviet Union, yes. Russia was established pretty much at the same time when we got our independence as Latvia. So when the USSR collapsed, then a lot of other countries emerged, like Latvia, and Ukraine, and Russia, for that matter.
We can talk music all day long.
Yeah.
Let's talk some other fucking cool shit.
All right.
Because you know what? You had a lot of hurdles, a lot of things that you had to go through just to be able to come to this country. And the reason I want to talk about that is because a lot of American artists want to go to Europe.
Yeah, I noticed.
And again, whether you're coming from there, coming here, or you're here going there, it's a lot of the same challenges. And you're somebody who has done it and done it the more so challenging way.
Yeah.
To get here and there and back, that's one thing. To get there and here, it's a little bit tougher, yeah?
It is.
Let's talk about that process, man. What was that all about?
Well, first the idea to come here, was pretty much established by. It's a small country, and there's only, unfortunately, there's only so high you can get there, and you know, as an artist, there's always this challenge pretty much in your mind that you get somewhere, you establish yourself to a certain level, and if you want to go, then you have to ask the question if it's enough for you, and if it is, then it's good. Then you kind of establish the level for others to get there, and because there's always new artists in that country which can look up on you, and you're like, all right, I want to get where you are, and kind of establish the idea that you are somewhere. But for me, it was I got to a certain point where I was playing pretty much in the biggest Latvian metal band. They were like this Slayer, the same level as Slayer is from here. The band was there, except that Slayer here is like, there's still, I think that the band has still somewhere to go. But for that band, in that circle, that's pretty much it. And then I got to another level. I started playing a theater, which is we can name it as the biggest stage in the whole country. Like, there's the most famous actors, like everything, like Broadway, you know. And after that, when that all finished, because every project is going to the end, and we ended that, and I was playing with my friend who's living here. He's a composer, classically educated, the best musician I played with back then. And he lives in San Diego, and we talked with him about the reasons he left that country in his time. And he pretty much named all the reasons which I was thinking about, because I didn't want to step, like, not that I want to bite the hand that feeds or anything, but I didn't want to step back in that metal scene because it's really small. You know, I wanted to go further, not to step back. And then we started to talk about different things, and he's like, you know what? Why don't you kick yourself in the ass and do something you never done before, and try if you can do that? just come here. If you are talking about all these things like getting further, like establish yourself as a drummer, he's like, why don't you find yourself a music school and see what you can do? And he's like, you won't have any backup because you have nobody here. There won't be any parents where you're like, oh, I'm like, want to hide somewhere, so I go to my parents' house, get under the blanket, and this world's fine again, you know. It's like, there's nothing of that. You'll be by your own, on your own, doing your own shit. Want to try it? Up to the challenge. I'm like, hell yeah. Might as well. What do I have to lose? I'm like 29 at that time. Like, let's see what I'm made of. Kind of like, man.
So you've been here for how long now? What year did you come here?
I came here in September 2009.
So you've been here 3 years, working on your 4th year.
Yeah.
You've had plenty of time.
Yeah.
To go out and experience the metal scenes, if you will, or the rock scenes that are here in the States, comparatively speaking to those in Europe.
Yeah.
What is your, I don't know, what is your impression of the differences between American rock and roll and European rock and roll?
Oh, there's actually quite a lot which I noticed. I always compare, like, also new musicians, but also like the famous musicians you guys have, like world class stars. I noticed that back in my country, at least, I can't speak for Sweden or Germany, where I was also living for a while, but mainly that country which I am from. That there's a, why don't people like get further? And one thing I noticed that, especially the band I was in, they get to the point where they're comfortable and then they stop, because like it's like for them it's like, why should I get out of my comfort zone? I'm good here. Like, you know, people come to me and say good things. I'm good with that. Like, I wasn't. I was like, I don't need somebody coming to me and complimenting me that I'm an awesome drummer when I know that I'm not. You know, I don't want those lies. Maybe they're not lies, but they were for me. And I noticed that here, I think even the bands which are greatly established, the drummers still practice, the guitar players still practice their asses off to get. You know, you would think like, God damn it, dude, you're already playing 2,000 notes a minute. Where you want to go further? And it's like, no, I want to play 2010 notes a minute. So, you know, there's still ways to go. And for me, that's probably the main difference, which I noticed between like great artists in my country and artists here, that here they not living in their comfort zones. They're still kicking their ass to get out of that. And that's pretty much the main, which I noticed, the main reason is that nobody's sitting here and, sorry for my words, scratching their balls in their fame. Maybe some are, but you know, we're not talking about those people. That people find the ways to get to another level still. And that doesn't happen there. That's why I wanted to get out of that. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm, you know, accepting all those challenges which are coming my way, especially as a foreigner. That, you know, there's like so many already like American natives who are like, you know.
And it definitely is a challenge.
It is a huge challenge.
America's a challenge. I mean, and again, you're in Los Angeles. You're in the center for what you want to be doing. So definitely challenging. But hey, I mean, on a positive side, you guys have a new album out.
Yeah.
Instruments of Our Own Oppression.
Right.
Let's talk about that, man. That's pretty exciting.
It is.
how many tracks we're looking at?
10.
10 tracks. We're looking at a physical release this spring.
Yes.
Let's talk about the album.
All right. We started doing pre-production with the guys who we had set for the band. When we recorded the album, we recorded it with 4. We had Alex Diaz on bass and Dominic McFadden on an extra guitar part. And we started pre-production in November of 2012 and started recording in late February 2013. Finished tracking, mixing, and mastering by August or so. And the album to us is I wanted to collect the parts in our society that, to me, I felt like they weren't really helping our society move forward, our society progress, our society become smarter, our society to do all the things that most everybody would want for America or a society in general. And you know, with my experience in the past, with you know, of my life and talking to a lot of people and traveling all around, I noticed that, you know, religion was one of these things that a lot of people in America, they either didn't want to talk about or they talked about it too much. And so I had, for me personally, I grew up Catholic and then I grew up Christian at the same time. And for a while I was a youth group pastor, and eventually I started doing my own research into the validity of the book, the truthfulness of the book, and how other people looked at it as well. And also reading other different kinds of religious texts in order to compare them and see what exactly they all brought. And I did the same kind of process and research, all in support of trying to capture the anomalies, to capture the parts that just didn't really make any sense, and point them out and be like, this is what you're supporting. And for example, in our song Anti-Evangelist, I say evangelism is like cannibalism when you force your beliefs and chokehold the provisions. And to me, that's about many stories that I heard of missionaries going over to third world countries, standing behind a gigantic truck or plot of supplies, and then holding them all at the church and saying, you can have them if you come to Mass. You can have them if you, and these people are starving. These people are dying from malaria, and they have vaccines. They have all of this shit, and they hold it back. And in a way, it's devouring the own culture. It's destroying the own culture, their culture, but they think they're helping. They think they're doing something great. And there needs to, for me, I wanted to try to point out that you can't be, and if you're trying to not be an evangelist, speaking out about evangelism is still evangelism, because you're trying to propagate an idea. That's what evangelism is about. And so you can't propagate a negative idea without being exactly the same thing that they're fighting against. And it's like they build up this corner. And so, at least intellectually. And so I wanted to try to tackle that. I wanted to try to tackle politics and other songs that we had for the album, and bring all these ideas together to try to demonstrate a wide things with lots of points, that there is something seriously wrong with our society. And I think it's partially because we use things like politics to divide us. Reasons to look at other people as the enemy. Reasons to divide. And they're all the reasons why we can't move forward, and all the reasons why we can't progress. And in a way, they are instruments of our own oppression. The title actually comes from a quote from Kumasi, who's a former Slauson gang member. He did an interview on a documentary, and he said, oh man, I can't remember the exact quote, but he mentioned something about the object of oppressing people is to get them to oppress themselves, essentially, by spreading ideas that aren't in their best interest. And eventually they tag onto them. And I see that all across our society. I see that in the news. I see that in politics. I see that in religion. And I see that in interpersonal relationships, lust and love. And it's not that any of these things are bad things. It's that when you use them in the wrong way, they are tools for our existence. And when you use them in the wrong way, they can have devastating effects.
So all those things having been said, is it safe to say that the Quarantine are, in a sense, musical evangelists of their own right?
In a way, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I can't speak out against it without being an evangelist for not being an evangelist. It's a trap.
In that sense, all bands are evangelists.
In a way,
in
yeah.
some sick sense.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of entertainers come from a former life of proselytizing and being a pastor. You know, like Sam Kinison used to be a pastor, Bill Hicks used to be Christian, and all these guys who you consider to be some of the great voices for intellectualism, and they all came from that kind of background. Yeah.
So, for the listener who has not heard the new material, if it were to be described to them, I don't even want to even begin to attempt. You tell me what do we have that's going to attract the new listener?
A use of common musical knowledge and taking it in a direction that is truly not being done around in the industry at large right now. The content makes you think. The content is there to make you think. It's been made to make you discuss it, think about it. You know, the music is about. Well, the music is different because it uses wide swaths of musical genres that all intersect. And the approach that I took to producing the album was each instrument has its own story to tell. And the best stories are always told with these interweaving lines, you know. It's when I think of concertos and Mozart and Beethoven and Tchaikovsky and all these guys they have all these interweaving lines of story. Each violin, each cello, all these are saying something different. And so that leaves us all open for our own artistic impression, our own emotion to put through to support what other people are saying. And
so this probably is an elevator soundtrack music then that
No.
we're listening to. This is sit down, strap it in.
yeah, sit
And-
down,
and-
smoke a
and-
ball, figure it out.
Yeah.
Get
Time to
ready,
think
get
about
ready
it.
to absorb some stuff.
Yes.
If your mind's not open, if you're not ready to take a turn down a dark alley, probably shouldn't listen to this.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way.
Consider-
Yeah, I mean, I've had people describe to me, they're like, man, I've been fans of Pink Floyd for decades, but some of these songs are the saddest things I've ever heard. And I've had people say that. And one of the songs, Ballad of a Dead Man, is deliberately meant to be a take on the classic rock ballad, but instead of being, oh my God, why did you leave me? It's, fuck, I've killed a lot of people. What do I do about it now? And these are some of the things that, being in the military, I knew a lot of people who had the experiences of people's lives and people's lives being lost. Their friends, enemies, they've all experienced it, and I have too. And so I wanted to come from a place to try to get people to see that and understand that as a human condition, not as some fringe shit that just happens in war, and war is hell. Yeah, everybody fucking knows that, but it's a lot deeper than that. It goes so much more to when, you can't trust your own instincts anymore because they've been tweaked by this mentality that everybody is out to get you. And over there, it's true. You have to think that in order to survive. Back here, it doesn't make any sense. Out here, it's like, oh, that nice white lady could be holding a gun. I better go check her. It's like you have to figure it out. And it just doesn't translate in society. And so I wanted to try to capture that aspect as well as the guilt and remorse, and as well as the issues that comes with life being lost in that manner.
This album sounds like it's going to be a fun ride.
Mm-hmm.
It's Instruments of Our Own Oppression. It's coming out physically this spring. Guys, one last thing. Any shameless plugs you want to throw out there? Anything at all you want to tell everybody before we head out?
You can go download our album and listen to it for free at www.thequarantine.bandcamp.com.
There you go.
Yes.
And our website is www.thequarantine.com. Go check it out.
There you go. They are The Quarantine from right here in Los Angeles, California. Guys, I want to thank you for coming out and spending some time with us.
Thank you. We appreciate you for having us.
All right, so we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with some more bands, some more music. Don't go away. We'll be back. And welcome back to the pit. Today we're joined by a couple of bands that aren't PIA bands. They're not Project Independent bands. We have ran across several of bands that, they just have their shit together, man, from all over the country. And they're hardworking bands. And since it's Namm weekend and a lot of them are here in town, we wanted to bring them by the studio, get a little bit different perspective from some bands that, again, aren't really part of the program, but might, over the course of the next couple years, showcase on one of our upcoming tours. So that's what this show's all about. And right now we're joined by one of those bands from Memphis, Tennessee. These are the guys from Harvest Mill. Guys, so welcome. I've got J. Chris on vocals, Gary Dacus on drums,
Yes, sir.
JB on guitars.
What?
Memphis, Tennessee,
Oh, yeah.
the home of rock and roll.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You guys are here in California.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of history here as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sunny California.
It's been amazing.
When I go to Memphis, man, I get into it. A lot of music history, a lot of cool shit to do. Sun Studios,
Yeah.
all of the stuff on Beale Street,
Yeah.
a lot of the civil rights history, Elvis
Mhm.
Presley. You guys are in Southern California. Are you guys taking advantage of the touristy shit as well?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We were just on Sunset Boulevard, went to Whiskey A Go Go. Well, just went and took pictures of it. We didn't go in, but, just trying to see all the sights. Went to the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Walk of Fame.
On Hollywood Boulevard, and I mean, it's been a blast. I got a chance to take a picture with,
Batman.
Aretha Franklin. Yeah, with Batman.
Batman happened to be there.
Yeah.
Not tonight. There's a lot of crime in Hollywood. He's going to be around.
Took a picture with Star from Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, Sam Cooke, just different people like that. So just had a blast. Did the tourist thing finally, so it's fun.
That's the way I am when I come to Memphis.
Cool.
I go to Sun Studios. No, I just you get absorbed in that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. What about you, Gary?
I've been out in California since I was a kid. My dad was stationed in Vandenberg, so I had a chance to come to LA, Anaheim. It's been great. It's actually my second time here, but the first time I flew in for Namm was fly in, hang out, leave. This time I got to spend the whole time here, so trying to take in everything at Namm. It's incredible. The people you meet, the people you see. It's like Jason Bittner walks right by. Hi, man. How you doing? You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You see these guys that you look up to, and then
I met Corey Glover.
yeah.
Got to
Corey
see
Glover,
my idol,
Living
like Jerry
Color, one of my
Cantrell.
idols.
Yeah.
Wow.
You get to see guys that, and you find most of them, 90% of them are like, hey man, what's going on? Hey, yeah, by the way, here's my email address. Hit me up. Let's talk sometime. You're like, wow, okay. You finally realize you pull them off the pedestal a little bit, and you actually get a chance to talk to them. And they're willing to talk to you. They won't treat you like, hey, I'm not the guy on the drum kit playing. I am the normal guy. Puts on my pants just like you do. So it's been a pretty cool experience. And then getting to go and watch these two guys on Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Strip was pretty cool. It was awesome. I had a chance to do this with these guys because they're fun to be around. It was just a really good trip.
And then Namm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That kind of brings out the tourist in you as well, especially
It
for the
does.
first timers.
It does.
What's
It
that
does.
about?
Man, like I said, got a chance to meet Corey Glover. We watched.
Saw Marty fucking Friedman melt my face, man.
Exactly. Just a lot of different people. Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah.
We got a chance to meet him and just different people. And people just walking around and you're like, hey, that's dude from what that? Maybe he played with you know, and so it's like, you know, I mean, it's like, but when I met Corey Glover, I actually had a fan moment. You know, I try to, you know, I've always, you know, just like, you know, I'm not gonna ever have a fan moment. I'm a cool guy, blah blah blah. As soon as I met Corey, couldn't talk for 10 seconds.
That was hilarious.
Could not talk.
We got video footage of it. He actually was like, I'm like, that's priceless.
And I'm not the guy who loses speech.
You know what? That's the beautiful thing about Namm.
Mhm.
Everybody has a fan moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how big you are, there's somebody there bigger than you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've been going there, this is my 25th year now. And every year I'm like, you know, and I'm pretty much just to the whole numb to the whole situation. But every once in a while, there's somebody there, and you're like, you know, whether it's some old timer you're just happy to see that they're still living the dream, keeping it alive, or some small kid that just blows you away, man.
Yeah.
And there's some good young artists that are coming up.
Oh yeah.
Me and Roy Burns, you know, being a clinician, he's the owner of the Aquarium.
Aquarium.
But he is also a phenomenal jazz drummer. And I'm just like, this is a guy that pioneered this, and just amazing. Get a chance to meet him, talk with him. He's like, "Yeah, this is how you do this." I'm like, ears open, shut mouth, and listen.
Yeah.
Because basically, in a sense, the words from God just came out. He's going to tell you what you need to know.
And then
that's awesome.
just seeing all these products, all these awesome products that that people are bringing out now. Some stuff that, you know, some stuff has always been tried and true, is there, but just to see all this stuff, and you're like, man, you know, where do you stop? Where do you, you know what I'm saying? You know, well, we're here on a mission. We can talk to these people, but then you see two other things. You're like, man, this is gonna be, you know, this is gonna be kind of crazy. But I mean, we got through it.
We came here with the intentions of talking with companies to work out possible artist pricing or something like that, to be able to help us out when we get out on the road. So we have a company that we'll go to, and a lot of it was like, yeah, we're willing to help you. You know, you have a stable product, we have a stable product. Ignator has been excellent.
Yes.
I picked up Access pedals. I'm trying to get those guys for 4 years, and Karen was like, "Here you go." I was like, "Really?"
Native
Okay.
Systems, I talked to people.
Native
Native
Systems.
Systems, and they
I mean, these are companies that
bump cases out of Alabama. I mean, those four companies. You know what I'm saying? It was just good to have. It's good to have those companies, you know, behind you right now.
You guys are from Memphis. Let's talk about that and get people that are at home watching a little bit more acclimated as to what you guys are dealing with. That's the dirty South.
yeah.
A lot of comparisons that I feel, L.A. to Memphis. You guys have always been the kind of the dirty part of what you guys do, and I think L.A. has always been that dirty part of rock and roll.
We're nowhere near as polished as Nashville. Nashville's polished.
Yeah.
Nashville has a very polished feel to it. We're not. We are the Delta Blues. We're the literally, you say the dirty South. We
We're
are
the dirty
that.
South, yeah.
Raw.
Yeah.
That's a raw tonality when you get there.
Yeah.
Memphis has its own individual sound.
And we're in your face. It's an in your face sound. Hey, you know what I'm saying? The thing is, and that's, you know, that's when we first started doing shows. You know, people were like, "What you gonna, you know, what you gonna sound like? You know, we're about to show you," and then we're in your face, and that's the type of people that Memphis puts out. We're in your face, and we, you know, what I'm saying, hey, you know, we're here. Look here.
Let's talk about your sound. For somebody who doesn't know Harvest Mill, has never heard, never seen, I want to drag them along to a show. Hey man, you got to go check out this band. How would I describe your band?
Like energetic, fun, hard hitting. Like I said, I guess the best way, I guess, to explain this would be if you took Saliva, the old Saliva.
Josie Scott.
Yeah, Josie Scott saliva,
Crystal
yeah.
Baldo days.
Yeah, those,
Saliva.
you know, that Saliva, took 7 Dust and Shine Down, threw them all in a pot and stirred it up. That's what you get Harvest Mill.
And add a little bit of metal to it.
Yeah,
Flavor. We have our little bit of metal moments.
Yeah, we do.
So hard rock or metal? Hard
Yeah.
rock.
Hard rock.
More hard rock, but I mean, you've seen me play 3 times now, boss. You know that you can't stop the feet. And it's going to be in there when it needs to be in there. That brings that metallic feel, especially when you have a guitar player like JB, whose idols are Jason Bittner, you know, or Jason
Marty
Becker,
Friedman.
Marty Friedman,
Yeah.
guys like that. And it brings that feel to it. We have
And then we have my other guy, other leading
Yep.
rhythm guitar
Chris
player, Chris
Slash.
Payne, is a Slash. You know, if Slash walked in, he'd fall out, and we got to revive him. and then we have a young kid, Dustin Allen, who's our bass player. That kid is one of the best bass players I mean that I've been around and had the pleasure of playing with, and he has a rich history from like rock, going back to the '80s rock and on up. He just, I mean, that's his thing.
If he'd have been down on freaking Sunset Boulevard, he'd about fell out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his thing. He loves the hair rock and hair metal.
And we're very, like I said, we're very energetic. We're going to use the stage. If you give us a stage, we're going to use it. You know, I get tired of going to see concerts and, you know, you have a big stage and you have one guy standing right here, one guy standing right here, one guy standing right here, and they're just doing this and the other guy-
Soundgarden.
Yeah. So
JB, what are your influences?
I listen to a lot of Alice in Chains and grunge, but I mean, I got into a lot of progressive guitarist Prodigy stuff for a while there. But after all that, I kind of went back and jumped into my roots and got into Led Zeppelin, a lot of the local blues artists. So, you know, I dipped into the Memphis influence, and I think you can hear it in my playing a little bit. So, yeah, something like that.
Gary?
Well, I met two of them this weekend. Tim Young, Divine Heresy, or now with Morbid Angel. Derek Roddy from Serpent's Rise and Hate Eternal. But I'd have to definitely say there's a local guy I like, and two local guys in Memphis I like, and really pride in having a relationship with those guys, friends and wise, is Rob Hall plays with Jerry Lee Lewis, and a younger drummer named Ed Harris played with Piston Honda, which was a hardcore band, and another he played with Stern of the Fall. Incredibly talented guys that just have the knowledge I didn't have, and definitely placed it with me and said, hey, look, this is what you need to do. And it worked. So big influences on it.
Me being young to it, like I said, Living Color, Corey Glover, Lenny Kravitz, Prince, people like that, and then like some of the local guys who kind of helped me out a lot have been Scotty Somerville from Artifice, a band called Artifice. If you guys haven't seen or heard from them, I mean, you need to check them out, man.
Great guys.
They are phenomenal. So Scotty Somerville and Jacob Harlan from, they were formerly Seed, now they're called Hydra Effect. So those guys, you know, have, you know, really kind of, you know, reach down and say, hey man, do this, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. You know, just give me some good stuff so that, you know, those influences.
Okay. I need to go here with you.
Here we go.
Yeah, right there's that proverbial pin drop.
Gospel background.
Yes.
The South.
Yeah.
Rock and roll band.
Yeah.
Black man.
Yeah.
How does that work for you?
Works great.
Yeah?
Because that got me emotional.
I mean, there will be the naysayers.
Yeah.
There are going to be the people that are going to challenge you. There's going to be the people that you have one opportunity.
Yeah.
You have one opportunity to step up on the stage and this is who I am.
Yep.
This is what I do.
Yeah, this is what I do. And like I said, my thing is, hey, just watch. I'm going to show you. I don't have time for a lot of talking. Call me what you will, but I guarantee once you get done watching me in the show, you'll be my fan, and you'll be my friend.
And there's obviously a reason why these guys are devoted to making this work.
Yeah.
This is not your, and I know you hear this 100 times, but this is not your mama's rock band. We're not the normal rock band. It's I always wanted to have a band that was a brotherhood from word go.
Yep.
When I got asked to come out, I was actually going to come out and help the other drummer they had before me get the songs done right. Well, believe in a higher power, you believe in karma, whatever,
Yeah.
but this guy texted and goes, I'm not showing up tonight. I was like, really? And I was laughing when I walked in there. I said, watch, that's him saying he's not going to show up tonight when I was picking up a soda after I picked him up to go help these guys out.
Yep. And it was exactly that.
And it was exactly that. And I was like,
exactly that.
wow, really?
Yeah.
Get there, sit down, start playing. And I'd wanted to play in Harvest Mill. I'd seen Harvest Mill before. I was like, these guys are badass.
Yeah, he had talked to me
I
3
want
months
to
before.
play in this band. And that was actually just shortly after the Project Independent Master Machine, in brutal honesty. And I sat down, said, hey, look, I had to hit. Actually, Dustin texted the guy and said, hey, can I use your kit? I said, yeah, go ahead. Sat there, did the first 2 songs, Blown Away and Get Some, the only 2 singles they had out at the time.
Mhm.
And it's like, went through those, and I'm like, yeah. About halfway through the 3rd song, Chris Payne looks at me and goes, you want in?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
like, is there shit in the woods? Yeah, I want in. And there was this brotherhood there where, 1, the music clicked, 2, everybody in the room got along. There was no tension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a rarity nowadays when you're the new guy coming into a project.
Oh yeah.
And it just felt great. And he came in on the next practice, and it was just like boom, 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 all 8 cylinders. It's like someone had a fine-tuned hot rod sitting in the front yard and was ready to race. And that's what this was. So I was very happy getting into this. It's a good brotherhood.
I think we're all, well, I know for a fact, we are all a product of our environment.
Mhm.
And those environments are going to differ, and there may be ethnic things differences that come into play.
Yeah.
And because of that, there's going to be different styles of music that a black gentleman
Mhm.
might listen to.
Yeah.
But that's only going to bring more diversity
Mhm.
into a collaboration that we like to call a band.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, me personally, when I go out and see 350 bands, I like to see gentlemen of color.
Exactly.
I like to see females.
Yes.
I like to see people that are going to stretch the limits of what we are accustomed to seeing
Yeah.
Exactly.
and hearing, for that matter.
And that's what I think that's what we do.
We have an urban feel, definitely.
Yeah.
We have an urban feel to our music.
Yeah.
You hear Get Some, you hear Psycho,
Mm-hmm.
you hear
Faltered.
Faltered, Blown Away. All those songs are independently different.
Mm-hmm.
It's still Harvest Mill. It's
Mhm.
still the same tone. You know it's the same band.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hear Blown Away in comparison to Faltered,
Mm-hmm.
they are the same band performing the songs, but there's that slight feel of an urban groove behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost in a sense with Blown Away to have more of a hip hop feel to it,
Yeah.
but still have that rock and metal push behind it. And that's what makes us stand out from every other band in Memphis.
In regard to the identity of Harvest Mill, not just locally speaking, but nationally, internationally speaking, since you have bands like Seven Dust and other bands of that nature who have the black frontman,
Mm-hmm.
how do you create your own identity? How do you make sure that the general public doesn't look at you, see you on the surface as, oh, it's just another Seven Dust ripoff band?
My singing.
Close, yeah, he's nothing like
We
what
don't
John.
sound that much.
My
like
style,
that.
my, like I have the same. I have. This is what I get all the time. I have the same tone as Howard that used to be in
Same thing,
Kill Switch.
yeah.
Kill Switch Engage. I think what's the new band now?
He's with W.
Yeah, a devil, you know. But I do more things with my voice. I do more acrobatics in my singing. Like I say, I come from the gospel background, and if you listen to any gospel singer, they use their voice in a certain type of way, and that's what makes me a little bit different from Howard or LeJean or anybody like that. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things.
I'll go on the limb and say it. I'll got the nuts to say it. Blackbird Dickinson,
Really?
legitimately. Blackbird Dickinson, Black Rod Halford. The ability to go out and do that type of dynamics over what we do,
Yeah.
but still be willing to sit down and say, "Hey, Gary, can you give that groove a little more bounce while we're playing?"
Yeah.
And this spring, we'll all be able to get a taste of that.
Yep.
Flesh and Pain,
Coming up.
that's the new album that's coming out this spring.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, it's flesh and pain. We all through life. It seems like sometimes it seems like it's an endless, cataclysm of just pain or just hurt. And you know, if you're in this flesh, you know what I'm saying, there's going to be some hurt, whether it be physical, whether it be psychological or whatever. It's about you living your life and letting the pain, you know, teach you something. I think that's pretty much what Flesh and Pain is for us. And it comes across in our music. It really does. I mean, because we're, like I said, I just got emotional. And that's what this is, you know. I'm emotional about what I do. So, I mean, that's what it is, Flesh and Pain.
Anything you guys want to add to that?
Pretty much the record is gonna. If you have anything that's happened to you in this life that has touched you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, whatever defines you, you're gonna find it in this record.
Yeah.
Seriously, you're gonna find the love for someone that's been taken away.
Yep.
You're gonna find that you have loved someone and screwed it up.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna find that.
One of my songs is about a friend who was killed, and she was a good friend of mine. She was killed, blown away, and most people don't know this about the story. She was 25 years old. We were both 25 years old. That's almost a few years ago, and she kept on telling me she was in a relationship that was an abusive relationship, had 2 kids, and I kept on telling her, this dude's gonna hurt you real bad, and she was like, man, but the sex is so good. One day I came to work, they told me to sit down, called me, told me that he had killed her in front of her 2 children, and that's what blown away is. It's about being in a relationship that's bad for you, but the sex is so good you can't get out of it. You know.
Been there.
Yeah, I mean exactly.
Who hasn't?
That's what I'm saying. So it's when people really begin to understand this album, I think they'll lock into it. I really do.
And we got more stuff on the horizon. You're gonna hear material on the road.
Yeah.
That we've been working on. This band doesn't ever stop writing.
Yep.
A band that is willing to sit on music that's old, you need to go back to the woodshed and try again.
Yeah.
This band with this record's just the start. When
Yep.
you hear the follow up to it, you hear the upcoming single.
Yep.
We're doing a specific single for Soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Climb and Glory, and that is going to be the kickoff to the next record.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna hear it. It's gonna come out. It's gonna swing for the fences.
New song called "Devil's Closing In." I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just like I said, that's I mean, why are you gonna try to write about something that you don't know about? Yeah, to me, that's the dumbest thing in the world. Or get somebody else to write your song for you that hadn't lived your life. It's crazy.
There's one more thing I want
want to talk to you guys about because I think it's very important. Building foundations, getting things up and rolling for any band. I think it starts with a good support group, a good scene. Memphis is something that has all the makings of a great scene.
Yeah.
A lot of different areas. They have our established KOT, Knights of Thor, doing a lot of great things for building local support through live shows, music, things of that nature. Of course, Radio Memphis.
Yes.
Our
Sweetheart Dirty D.
Yes.
Let's talk about that scene, man. Let's talk about what's going on there, man. Because I think some of our viewers, some of the musicians, they need to hear this. And they need to hear it from bands like you that are, part of the cornerstones of that kind of networking.
If you're in Memphis, Tennessee, and don't come to a local show, you're missing out.
Yeah. First of all, Radio Memphis.
I love that place.
If it hadn't been for Radio Memphis, a lot of the stuff. As a matter of fact, had it not been for Radio Memphis, I might not have a full band right now. Just to be honest with you, because A Blown Away was actually done with a group of musicians I had come in and do some stuff on top of tracks, honestly. Radio Memphis has really, if you're within 300 miles of Radio Memphis and you haven't sent your stuff and you got to sit in your house, on a computer or on a jump drive somewhere, somebody needs to take you outside and just flog you. You know what I'm saying? until you figure it out, because Radio Memphis has really helped out a lot of groups, and a lot of groups need to say thank you. They need to take their butts back and say thank you to Radio Memphis, because they wouldn't have anywhere to play their stuff. Honestly, just to be honest with you.
There's a band called Heavy Eyes out of Memphis, Tennessee that has gotten a very, very big European following. They actually had a company send over, said, hey, look, send us a copy of your demo, or not your demo, but your record. Brought it over to Germany, printed it, 5,000 copies, sold every single one of them, took the printing cost out, and sent them back to life. For hearing them on Radio Memphis.
That works.
Then got them on They're supposed to be, I think they're doing it either February or March. They're going to be doing the new Harley Davidson commercial, and you hear Heavy Eyes tune behind the commercial. They're getting, it's that type of people that happen to be listening to Radio Memphis and they hear one specific band.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't honestly for what Radio Memphis and not me being part of it has done with Selecto hits, you know,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be sitting where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And Radio Memphis has helped promote every band I've been in. So and that was one of the reasons I said, I want to work for you guys. You guys have done this for me. Let me at least come in. Let me help push shows. Let me do this. And they said, I didn't intend on being on here. I didn't intend on being a host on Memphis Metal Mondays. I was like, what? I gave them the idea. I said, you guys need a metal show. They're like, okay, cool. They said, I know Rick Cherry goes, by the way, you're one of the DJs. And I'm like, no, I'm not. He goes, yes, you are. This is when it started. I was like, what? It's like, okay, fine.
And to come to think of it, Radio Memphis is the reason why he's in the band. Radio Memphis is one of the main reasons why I had a enrolled into Selecto Hits anyway. Blown Away had its own distribution deal anyway, but they had, of course, put Savvy on the back because no band, you know what I'm saying? It was just me singing, blah blah blah. And what can you really do with that? Basically, I mean, they came to a Radio Memphis event and said, hey, we want to get you guys out, and we had a meeting, and because of Selecto Hits, because of Radio Memphis, we basically have recorded with Selecto Hits, Sam West Phillips. Like I said, you know, if you don't know who Sam Phillips is, you don't know who the Phillips family is. If you don't know that, you know, you go you need to go Google that. I mean, you really do. You know, I mean that you have a major independent distribution company sitting in Memphis, Tennessee, that's always looking for new stuff to push. So you need to go Google that name.
Right on, fellas. Well, thanks for joining us. For everybody at home, the name of the album is Flesh and Pain. It's going to be out this spring. They are Harvest Mill. They are from Memphis, Tennessee. And again, look for them this summer. They should be doing some tour dates to support their new release. We will definitely have them on the Project Independent Showcase when we come through Memphis, Tennessee. And again, for all you people who don't know the history of Memphis, you need to get on your Google, you need to get on your Wikipedia, check out the Phillips family, check out Sun Studios. Hey man, that's the seed, that's where it all began. I want to thank you guys again for joining us.
No problem.
Everybody at home who tunes in night after night, again, thanks so much for coming out and being a big part of our show. It's Namm weekend. We got a lot more bands coming up. So until next time, keep your feet on the ground and your horns in the sky.
Clear.